So today, beautiful people, we're actually going to be talking about tips and tricks for people who are studying for the CPA exam and also working full-time. So I know this is something which is super important, right? Because many of us end up working while studying versus those who study and take the exam while they're in school. So we're actually going to be talking about that, how to be able to maximize your time and just be able to help you pass and be done with this exam for life. Having a set schedule, having a set plan would just help you be able to maximize your time. It would help you to be a lot more efficient, and it will just help you be able to study better. Of course, with a plan, right, you're able to follow to say, I need to complete this module by this day, so then I have my exam, or so that I'm prepared for my exam, which is coming in the next month, next 2 weeks, and so forth. So it is so important that we have a schedule, and not only having a schedule, but also making sure that you try to the best of your ability to follow it. Because of course, following the schedule would allow you to be able to pass and be done. Now, when you're working full-time, you have your day-to-day obligations. So you need to make sure that you're having that schedule and you're also following it. So then eventually, so that you're just, passing the test and being done with it. Now, the second thing you want to keep in mind is quality over quantity. The CPA exam is a marathon, and it would only benefit you if you actually decide to do quality studying versus quantity. We shouldn't aim to do 10 hours a day, but you're not retaining 10 hours worth of information. You want to make sure that if you're doing 3 hours a day only, you're actually able to retain all that information during those 3 hours. In order to be able to be more qualitative and to get that quality data, make sure that you study when you are most productive. For example, I'm a morning person, so when I was taking audit and I was working full-time, I made sure I would wake up before my actual work time to study, because morning study works way better for me. My brain is more active in the morning, and that just allowed me to be able to be a bit more successful, versus if I was studying late at night, where I know that after like 9-10 p.m. I really can't function at that time. So make sure you do your studying when your brain is the most active. In order to maximize your time, also point number 3 will be set a number of hours for the week that you want to be able to study for. When you work, you have 40 hours, right? If you work a regular or typical 9-to-5 job, you have 40 hours spread across 5 working days, which is 8 hours a day. Set the number of hours that you want to study for, especially for the much longer parts. Now, you know that, okay, 40 hours I'm going to be working. You need to be able to set a number of hours for the different parts that you may be taking, because that would also help you just accomplish more of that goal, right? And the number of hours that you're going to set for yourself would vary depending on the part. Audit may not require as much time as something like FAR or Reg or BEC, if that's you also, that you need that many hours. But set a number of hours. Typically, I would recommend anywhere per week between 20 to 30 hours, and you can spread it across the working week, literally Monday to Sunday, and then figure out what works best for you depending on the part you're taking. And then just keep in mind, right, depending on what part you're taking and where your strengths lie and where your weaknesses lie, you may need to take more time to study. Now, Reg is something which I'm not very keen about, not that great at naturally, so I knew that I needed to spend way more time than something like BEC or FAR, which came a little bit more easier for me. With maximizing your time at work, right, to study, you need to also make sure that you can incorporate some study during your lunchtime. That's one time in the day where I think it's so easy for you to just do a couple of practice questions, read over something that you may not necessarily understand, and that does not take too much time. Now, most of us are working from home. Instead of, doing laundry during your lunch break or going to the grocery store or something, just spend that time to do some practice tests. Places are opening up. We're going to be going back into the office. Everybody's looking to reconnect. But instead of reconnecting at lunchtime, just communicate with your colleagues and tell them that when you're done with your exam, you'll be able to chat more during lunchtime. In regards to communication, right, ladies and gents, this is super important. Communicate with your team that you are studying for the test. Many of us study for the test and our team doesn't even know. Now, I'm not saying for you to blast all your business at work, but I think for sure this is very important, so that you don't get added to invites or to meetings where you don't necessarily need to be on. There are many of us who get on calls or meetings where you're not necessarily contributing anything. Now, it will be nice to know information which you can always communicate with one of your colleagues to kind of fill you in on what happened. But I would definitely encourage you to communicate with your team so that they know that, okay, they're studying, Charlene is studying, so if she doesn't need to be on this call, we can exclude her out of it so that she can get her regular work done quicker and then be able to focus on studying for the exam. I hope that these tips were super helpful for you. Now, if you're studying for the test and you're also working full-time, make sure that you leave a comment below if you have any questions, and then also be sure to subscribe. Reach out to me if you need any help. And then last but not least, guys, I have a link which contains some set study schedules that you can actually use if you're working full-time. I used Becker to study, so most of the modules I used are tailored towards that. So that really helped me while I was working and also studying for the exam. So I'll catch you guys later, and bye.